My artistic inquiry looks at science and technology as a tool to create my work. Science is a really great method to look at the ways that things work in nature, in the way society functions. So I use that as inspiration to do my work. For the last 30 years I've been working in technology. I use robotics and mechanics to animate my ideas. And I collaborate with scientists and engineers and technicians to realize my visions. So I think I'm meshed into all of those at the same time. In my practice, I look at how technology functions, and I'm interested in on how technology and robotics in particular is taking on human movement. So for 30 years I've been looking at that myself, and I haven't had access to the kind of technology that's available today. The access for the artist has changed tremendously. So today I could complete works that I conceived 10, 15 years ago because the access to technology has changed, or the access to engineers who might want to work with me at this point in time where they might not have before. So I think for me, I'll continue to use technology in my creative practice because it's always been an inspiration and a fear. Lifeless object that comes alive and becomes something else seemingly organic or somewhat organic. That was very much the intention. So through the process, it was at times that was the biggest challenge, to actually make that work because it was the intention. This is really a sculpture using technology. So I prototyped this very small, and I was very interested in having this car change shape and break apart into something geometric, organic, and finally as if it was a growing plant, something that was really growing. And in that process, a lot of things happened. I mean, I had to find a team of engineers who could calculate how to make this thing work and keep it safe. And so they deemed it an impossible task at first. I persevered on, and we kept trying, and we got this thing to work. And so finally, we were able to create this thing very well engineered to last a long time, to do multiple cycles. But the important thing was, how do we keep this thing when it's in constant motion, always doing something new and unique? So for me, as a sculptor, every view of the sculpture, it's very important that it's actually working, physically working, conceptually working, and aesthetically working. So I only had the ability to work in a very finite model and drawings, and then ultimately it's sort of like, how do you refine something so massive, so big, and still keep it appealing? It's certainly not a transformer. The notion of it, being stuck with the comparison, it's okay because, society's reference is cinema on everything. We're living this scientific age now that you only saw in these great films like Blade Runner, TV series Star Trek. All these things are what Google is aspiring for. Facebook, all of these giants are inspired by science fiction. It's directing our world. It is the direction of our world because they've got the power in their hands to direct it. I think the artist's role, if the artist had access to Google, which often they do, or these powerful giants to realize their visions, you're going to find those visions will be quite different. My interest has always been in transforming states from my early performance works. I was always interested in taking my body to the next state that I could in a performative action. My early work evolved out of real situations, creating real live actions. Nothing preconceived, but just setting up these different factors and enacting a performance. And by the time the performance was over, something new happened to me that I had never experienced before. So when my practice went on to installation and just pure robotic sculpture, I felt it was important that the work would give each viewer something completely new and unique for each and every one of them. So some people take away a child, if they've only seen the Transformer series, they're like, oh, Transformer, but then it doesn't kill and it doesn't do this. And then my hope is that it turns their head a little bit and they say, this thing, instead of destroying all the other machines, it actually just grew into a plant. Or some connoisseur of the DS is like, wow, I wonder how fast this thing moves forward or back or what it does. And in fact, when they see it grow upwards, it's like, ooh la la, it's growing upwards. That's completely odd. And so it gives them an interesting reference from the takeoff of this car that is so respected and loved, and often difficult to work on. They have this iconic takeoff point, and then it goes somewhere else in their mind, nowhere that they imagine, mostly, and I'm very happy about that. I studied traditional art forms, drawing and painting and sculpture, and then I got very quickly interested in performance through theater, through dance. I minored in dance actually in my undergraduate studies, and then I studied performance, electronic music. I studied everything, and I was interested in anthropology and the sciences. So all of these things came together, and I was searching for my medium. And what I was after ultimately was a total art form, something that took on all of the senses, including smell, sight, action, physical emotion. I studied anatomy extensively. So my early works were with my own physical body, pushing my physical body to the maximum. And then part of that process was taking my body into evolving states. So I came into robotics through the fact that I painted my body with latex and with paint, and I shed skins from my body. Those shedding skins actually became mechanical puppets that I would perform with, that slowly grew into the machines that I built over the last several years. My technological knowledge is self-taught, really. So I taught myself how to make mechanical systems and build things. While I was in graduate school, there were no classes available like there are today. So in '91, I formed the group Amorphic Robot Works as a collaboration between artists, technicians, and scientists. And through that collaboration, a lot of works have been realized that wouldn't have been able to be done on my own. So my role is to create something or conceive of something and try to bring it to life. And then the role of the engineers is to teach the machine, to build the brain, to teach those machines how to function in whatever situation we put them in. So that's kind of been the wonderful aspect of the collaboration. Today, more and more, I collaborate with those engineers in a more pure kind of collaboration. Me and two engineers I've worked with on this, we collaborated on a project called the Organograph, and it was a call for a climate clock. We designed and conceived a clock that monitors climate change. That was a three-way collaboration between two engineers who work creatively and myself, and so it worked really beautifully. And so I love working that way, and I want to continue to work that way as well. As an artist, I feel like all the artists in the show have a role in sort of, they also look at technology because they're looking at society and how technology is influencing society. For the last 30 years, I've seen how technology has a very negative impact and a positive impact. The negative impact is that it's controlling our lives, and it's been controlling our lives. And every aspect of technology is linked to the human. Most humans can be found where they're residing, what they've been doing, what they've been breathing. You're videotaped by various cameras daily. I think that's negative. I don't think that's positive. On the other hand, we're creating technology that can get us out of trouble where a human cannot go. But who's causing the trouble in the first place? It's the human. So if you're generating nuclear power and you're destroying your country because of that, of course, the people in that country are going to rise to the occasion, create technology to save themselves. It's just like cinema, right? On the other hand, if you don't use nuclear energy, then you don't have a problem. You don't need to create a robot that goes into dangerous places, right? a child can use this device better than an adult, and teenagers don't know how to communicate with each other because every other aspect of it is locked to this. So where technology is heading is that this thing gets integrated into your body. So, the technology gets integrated into your body, and then hopefully you'll be able to gesture like a human again, but you become a hybrid of art and technology. So I think it's unhealthy for kids to lose the social practice of interactivity. A kid, instead of chain smoking cigarettes, as 20 years ago, they chain text. They use their iPhone. So I think it's a danger that they're losing their ability to communicate with their bodies and to be social with other people. That's one danger. That's a fear. It's a fear to me that everybody can watch me no matter where I am in the world, and I can be located anywhere in the world. Where's that going in the future? That's dangerous. The U.S. is really en route to creating the most phenomenal military soldier. So we never have to send any soldiers to our wars anymore. Our humans don't have to go. Our machines will go and destroy other humans. That's good? I don't see how that's good. Day to day, when you're carrying out your practical tasks of the day, you're not necessarily in an imaginary. You can't be as creative or imaginative. You have to get yourself in a state where you're by yourself, or you're watching and observing things. Often, when I'm on so-called vacations, I find myself observing, and that's when ideas come to me. When I'm most relaxed, when I'm building this machine, I can make decisions while I'm doing it that are creative. But it's when I'm on the airplane with 300 people and I'm sitting in that seat with my notebook, that's the moments that actually are the most exciting, It's just like, just me and the notebook. Me and the notebook are thinking about, how can that joint work pneumatically? And I'm like, something happens and you write it down or you try to describe it with your notebook. And sometimes the notebook isn't the notebook, in that case, sometimes isn't the way to ultimately find the idea, but it triggers something that sends you on the adventure to find that idea. Theo Janssen talks about it in his documentary where he had this idea with the tubes, and then 17 years later, there he is, right? Some little thing captured him that gave him enough of a long journey, and his work kept growing and growing. And as it grew, it got purer. I feel it got purer. So that's a great example. And for me, I've been pursuing ideas for multiple years that keep coming back to me. And the funny thing is, today, my last show in Brazil and my upcoming show in China have taken me to a new period with my soft robotics that has really helped. It's helped my work grow, but the technology of the material now has reached the point where I can actually achieve my dreams from 15 years ago. When I teach kids robot building, their reference is what they've experienced in their bodies. So they can always make a robot that references what they know in life, which is very little. So it's very pure, very simple, it's very direct. So I think that's the beauty of the artists working in this medium, is that you can take a very pure approach to building something, where an engineer would really need to absolutely plan it out to the point where they would never do certain things. They would never take on certain things because it's way too much. It's not feasible. It doesn't seem practical. Artists don't do practical things.